You pulled a bag of leaves out of your fridge this week and it had gone to slime. The herbs you bought on Saturday were black by Tuesday. And somewhere at the back of the crisper, there are greens you're not quite ready to look at. Across a year, that's real money landing in the bin. The same shop, the same vegetables, thrown out and replaced on a quiet loop that never quite stops. Here's the thing. The vegetables weren't bad when you bought them. They were stored in a way that killed them early. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to put each type away so it stays fresh for weeks, and how to bring back what's already gone floppy before it crosses the line. One idea runs underneath all of it. In a Japanese kitchen, produce is treated as still alive after it leaves the ground. Because it is. A picked vegetable keeps breathing, keeps losing water, and it dies one of two opposite ways. That frame is the whole method. Let's get to work. Here is what's actually going wrong in your crisper right now. Most people do one of two things. Tip everything loose into the drawer and forget it. Or seal everything into plastic bags so nothing dries out. Both feel sensible. Both quietly wreck the produce. Left bare in the fridge's moving air, leafy greens transpire. They keep breathing and losing water after harvest. And with nothing to slow that loss, they go limp. Seal them into a wet plastic bag and you've fixed one problem by creating another. They can't breathe. They sit in their own trapped damp, and they rot. The whole trick is giving each vegetable the right balance of moisture and air. Not none, not a sealed puddle, but the narrow middle where it can still breathe without drying out. The crisper drawer isn't magic. It's a slightly more humid box, and it only helps if you're using it right. Tipping everything in together, a tender leaf next to a hard carrot, an apple next to your salad greens, ignores the fact that some produce gives off a ripening gas called ethylene, and leafy greens nearby will spoil faster for it. Apples, bananas, tomatoes, all of them emit this gas. Your greens don't stand a chance in the same space. Cut surfaces left open dry out faster too. The drawer was never going to save them. Now the fix. And get to step 1 fast, because this is where everything changes. Step 1, leafy greens and fresh herbs. Take them out of the bag they came in. Wrap them loosely in a lightly damp paper towel or cloth, damp enough to slow the moisture loss, not soaking wet. And then lay that bundle in a loose bag or an open box in the fridge. Not sealed. Not squeezed. The goal is just enough damp, enough air. You'll open the fridge 2 days later and they'll still look like you just got back from the shop. Step 2, tall things. Asparagus, spring onions, herbs with long stems. Don't lay them flat. Stand them upright in a glass with a little water at the bottom, the way you'd keep flowers, and cover them loosely at the top. This is one of those changes that feels almost too simple. And then you watch your asparagus stay firm and bright for notably longer than it ever has lying on its side in a drawer. Try it once and you won't go back. Step 3, mushrooms. Paper bag. Not plastic, not a sealed container. A paper bag. Sealed plastic makes mushrooms go slimy because they need to breathe and the moisture has nowhere to go. A paper bag lets the air move and keeps them dry and firm. This one's easy to get wrong because plastic bags are what you reach for by habit. Step 4, leafy vegetables with a bit of structure. Think bok choy, little gem, anything with a stem. Store them stem down where you can, standing rather than lying flat, so they don't crush under their own weight and start to sweat at the bottom. Small detail, real difference. Step 5, the ethylene emitters. Apples, bananas, tomatoes. Keep them away from your greens entirely. Not just in a different bag, in a genuinely different part of the fridge or out of it altogether. Whole tomatoes, specifically, actually keep better out of the fridge. Cold turns them mealy and strips their flavor. Leave them on the counter. Step 6, and this frees up space you didn't know you had. Some things keep worse cold. Potatoes and onions want a cool, dark cupboard. Refrigerator temperatures turn potato starch, oddly sweet in a way you didn't ask for. Garlic and most whole fruit are happier at room temperature too. Take these out of the fridge. They'll be better for it. And suddenly you have room to store the things that genuinely need the cold with a little care instead of cramming everything in together. Now, what if you're already looking at a bunch of herbs that have gone completely floppy, or a handful of greens that seem to be giving up? There's a good chance they're not gone. Fill a bowl with cold water. If you've got ice, use it. Submerge the limp greens or herbs and leave them for 15 to 30 minutes. The cells absorb the water and firm back up. It sounds unlikely until you watch it happen. You put in something that looks finished and you pull out something that looks like it just came in from the garden. Recovery is often complete. The hard limit is this: slime and actual rot cannot be reversed. If it smells, if the texture has broken down, if there's genuine decay, that's gone, and no amount of cold water changes it. But limp? Limp is almost always just thirst. And cold water is the answer. That distinction matters, because most of what people throw out isn't rotten. It's just dehydrated, just wilted, just sitting in the wrong conditions for a few days too long. The rescue works on most of it. In a Japanese kitchen, careful produce storage isn't a special technique or a weekend project. It's ordinary. So ordinary that it doesn't have a name, just a quiet background sense captured in the word Mottainai, which carries the feeling that wasting something still good is a small shame. Not a moral failure, just a slight wrong. That feeling shapes how things get put away. Leafy things wrapped and breathing. Tall vegetables stood the way they grew, each item placed with a minute of thought rather than tipped into a drawer and forgotten. What you just learned is that same habit made explicit. Same produce, same fridge, 1 minute of considered arrangement. And the outcomes look completely different. Now, the practical side. You'll still lose some to genuine spoilage, because these habits stretch freshness. They don't stop time. Results vary by vegetable type and by how fresh the produce was when you bought it. Something that's already been sitting in a store for 4 days won't keep as long as something fresh. The methods help either way, but they're not a guarantee. What they do add up to, across a week, roughly a third less thrown away. Times that by a year of grocery runs, and it is real money. Not pennies, real money. That was going in the bin. Against what these habits cost, which is nothing at all, just a minute of thought and a lightly damp cloth. Same shop, same vegetables. Put away with a little care. That's the only difference. If any of this changes what you do with the bag in your hand right now, come back next time. We're going into the Japanese habit that stops